Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, senior Lakers insider and lead Lakers content creator for Offside, joined on this fine, what is it, Harrison? Is it Tuesday?
It's Tuesday here. I think it's Wednesday where you are.
It is Wednesday. Yeah, it is 12:12 on a Wednesday morning out here. Tuesday to those of you watching live back home. And the Lakers just beat the Utah Jazz with a final score of 140 to 125. And the Lakers got to 140 sleepwalking at times, which I think this offense is going to be pretty good.
The whole first half.
Yeah, right. So Harrison and I are going to recap that game. Got to talk about LeBron's return. Got to talk about Luka in Austin still looking good somehow, even with LeBron being on the court, which was something people were for some reason worried about.
I thought LeBron was going to make them worse. So hand up. I stand corrected.
We're going to talk also about the starters in this one, right? This was the first official time that JJ Redick had all of his Lakers officially available, and he went with Rui in the starting group. So that'll be, I think, something that we will be talking about here moving forward as well. But Harrison, I'm going to start with one of the craziest days of my life and explain why. And I promise this is going to be worth it for the joke at the end. Okay. So
right at the start of the show. Okay.
Yeah. Quick reminder, subscribe, rate, review, all of those good things.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the Lakers, but not yet.
Well, we will. And I think it was funny because of the framing of LeBron's availability for this game, right? Did you see that JJ Redick, Shams had already tweeted out, and everybody was talking about LeBron returning as if it was a done deal. And JJ Redick, like minutes before the game, was like, he's trending in that way. It's looking good. Did you see that?
Well, we know JJ doesn't like Shams, going back to the coaching search,
Yeah.
He did say Shams will be addressed at some point. He has not addressed him yet.
Maybe that was today.
That's coming. I mean, we're a year and a half out, but I assume it's coming at some point.
Yeah. Well, so I was laughing at it. I was laughing at this going down today because and it's going to be a short story, I promise. So I had done some blood work last week and I didn't think anything really of it. And my primary care physician has been trying to call me over the last couple of days. We've been playing phone tag. Again, there was nothing really going on. It was just a routine check. And
we live very different lives. If my primary care doctor and I were playing phone tag after I got blood work, I would be assuming I was dying.
Well, so I get I get a voicemail from Texas Oncology. And the note from the voicemail, they say, "Hey, we got a referral from your primary care physician because of the blood work that you did over the weekend. And we're going to need you to schedule an appointment ASAP." And I'm thinking, fuck, what? And so I try to call my primary care physician and I'm trying to get any kind of clarity on this. And it's like the worst timing ever for them to be like, press 1 to talk to somebody. I need to fucking talk to somebody. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going nuts. My brain is running through all these like things. I'm like, it literally at one point I'm thinking to myself, fuck it. I'm building a pool. Like I'm so I'm
building a pool stage of grief.
Just
third one.
Move right into that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, at one point I'm thinking like, who's going to take over the show? How can the family continue to benefit from the show? Like just my mind is just going a zillion miles a second. And so call the primary care physician. They're busy. Like, cool. And I call the Texas Oncology and I'm like, hey, I was told to to make an appointment with you guys for further blood work. And the lady on the other line is like, "Hi, sir. Yeah, I understand." Like, just as if I'm already dead, like I'm just, and so I'm, I go, "Hey, who's the doctor that they wanted me to have this appointment with?" And they're like, "December 8th." I'm like, "You want me to sit on this information? It's November 19th. What are we doing?"
Well,
And
it was November 18th when you called, but yeah.
it was. So it's like, that is a full 20 days from now or whatever it is. That is not tenable. And the reason that by the way, like, I am fine. It turns out that
Your first thought, okay, now that I know that you're fine, your first thought was who's going to take over the show?
one of them, yeah.
You have 2 children.
Well, no, I mean, like, I tried not to think about that because I'd have been a wreck in my shower, so
Oh, okay. So you were just like, I can't think about this right
I need to be
now. I'm just
productive.
going to think about what to do with the show.
Yeah. Well, so I was, so it turns out, so I finally do get a hold of my primary care physician, and the lady on the other line says, "You know what? My bad." And I go, "Excuse me." And she goes, "Well, we need you to see a hematologist. And it just so happens that oncologists also happen to be hematologists. We just want you to look further into this, like, thing that we found in your blood work, that you don't have cancer." And I'm like, "Maybe lead with that. Like, from now." And I was like, and so after my brain had gone through all of these
Yeah, I
roller
feel like the
coasters.
first sentence should be, "You don't have cancer, but also we are referring you to."
Yeah. Right? It's like, um, or at least, like, when Texas Oncology calls, it's like, "Hey, by the way,
We also do hematology.
yeah, like, you are not coming in for that." And so I'm thinking, and so after running through the litany of thoughts that just raced through my brain, thinking that for a second that I might have to go in to find out further testing on cancer, um, I laugh because I'm like, this is what I get for making fun of how the Lakers handle medical information all of these years. It's like, this, like, after all of these years saying you guys are not protecting the nuclear codes, turns out these people who were in charge of my health kind of sort of are. So it's like,
Yeah, well, they were also, they were being, they showed you what happens when you're less careful with throwing diagnoses out there than the Lakers are. So,
yeah,
yeah, I think the lesson here is Lakers handle injuries right every time.
I'm never going to complain about it ever again. All right, with that out of the way, the Lakers beat the Utah Jazz, and
Anthony beat cancer.
I made that joke to Jen today. She's like, "Don't ever joke like
She
that."
didn't like that. Yeah. Shocker. Shocker, she didn't like that one.
Yeah, me, 140, cancer, 125. But so, so, it's.
I really hope that the hematology report does not come back and they're like, okay,
Could you
so
imagine?
actually,
I thought about that sitting down on the couch today. It was like, it would be
if I were
would
you, I
actually
would
kinda
not
laugh.
be running back up the court celebrating,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
taunting cancer, you know.
So the Lakers beat the Utah Jazz tonight, and it was one of those typical starts to, like, a big LeBron James game. For some reason, the Lakers, like, just can't play in big occasion LeBron James games, right? They start this one out, everybody's walking from spot to spot defensively. They aren't attacking the basket. They're like, at one point I saw Darius tweet out like, "Hey, you guys know Walker Kessler isn't down there, right?"
I saw
And
that too.
like, the thing with Darius is, like, if he's firing off like that kind of a spicy tweet, he has sent like 3 really good texts already. And so, like, so that the game starts out, the Lakers are kind of going through the motions, and the Jazz kind of jump out on top of them really, really quickly. And immediately, and I tried to stop myself from this, but immediately I'm like, "See, yeah, that's why we wanted Marcus Smart to start." But eventually the Lakers, they kind of figure some stuff out. They start getting some stops. I think really importantly, Harrison, I think they got out in transition, and I thought that got them going. That's something that I think they're all going to be reluctant to do, but they have such transition weapons that like I would like to see them continue to push the pace a little bit there. And eventually they kind of, I think it was in the third quarter, took a lead, and then by the end of the third quarter held a double-digit lead. And then it was funny because like you go into the fourth quarter, you have a bit of a lead, and then LeBron and Austin run you off of the court. And your reward for being run off of the court is Luka coming into the game to really close things out. And that's how the game went. But yeah, like what was your first kind of macro takeaway watching all of this kind of take place?
It turns out that LeBron being in those situations, like off of Luka and Austin, like your 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, whatever, is better than Marcus Smart doing it. That does it. It turns out that helps the offense
a little bit,
a little bit better of a fast break passer than Vando.
Vando, interesting. Vando caught a DNP CD today.
Yeah.
So did Dalton. Gabe remains in the rotation, and Jake LaRavia remains in the rotation. Eventually, the Lakers emptied the bench. So actually, even Harrison, the only Laker who did not play tonight.
Vando didn't even play in garbage time, which, like, honestly, I think that's fine. Like, I think
it's kind of respectable, I guess.
More insulting if they would have just put him in with the stay ready crew.
Oh, but like Maxi Kleba played. Kleba's been a better player over the course of his career than.
Yeah.
But so in terms of like in terms of the rotation, JJ basically went 10 deep, right? Yeah. And those 10 were kind of as expected, as I've been talking about the last couple of days. You had your starters, Austin, Luka, Rui, LeBron, and Ayton. And then Smart was the first guy to come off of the bench. He came in for LeBron. I kind of wonder if eventually LeBron is going to want to push that back a little further, because LeBron only played 6 minutes or so in that first stint. And I know LeBron likes longer stints. So Smart comes in for LeBron first, and then everybody else kind of trickles in. You had obviously Hayes come in for Ayton. You had Gabe come in, to spill Austin and so on and so forth. And the only guy who got his own unit was Luka, which I think is the right call. So I like, in terms of like macro level coaching, I didn't really have many complaints. I am really kind of curious how the starters are going to look moving forward and what those numbers are eventually going to play out to be. But yeah, like, I think you're absolutely right for noting, and I can't believe this is something that you and I actually have to talk about in a way that is like contrary to some popular belief out there. LeBron James didn't immediately step in and ruin everything. And like, I think it's really a credit to LeBron. And I think it's really a credit to like the way that he kind of approaches the game. That
Is it a credit to LeBron that he didn't come in?
His approach to it was a credit to him. Like not the result. Like the result, it's a discredit to anybody who didn't think it was going to go the way.
Yeah, like I feel like, again, like LeBron doesn't. This is not even me. Like, I'm not slandering LeBron. It's like that. If you expected LeBron does not get credit for not coming in and making the Lakers worse. It's like you were an idiot if you thought that. Like it's.
But I think that, like, what I mean is LeBron basically felt out the game and then eventually realized, all right, I'll be Rondo tonight.
It's also like, if people not watched LeBron play the last couple of years and how much he's willing to defer on ball handling duties, even including to before the Luka trade, when he's willing
to do this.
Yes. Yeah, actually, that's been true. He's been trying to do it for years. He actually started doing it with Austin, 2 years ago now. Yeah. And so I don't know what you expected. This is not like 2010 to 2015 LeBron where he's going to have, 35% usage rate or whatever it is. Like, he was never going to come back and do that anyway. And so the idea that he was going to take the ball out of Austin's hands, like, yes, in the sense of it's going to be in everyone's hands like a tiny bit less with a guy that good, but that's going to be because he is in such an advantageous position playing off of those guys that it's going to be like, LeBron is getting a better shot. It's not LeBron coming in and forcing, contested threes. I mean, I'm sure he'll do that sometimes, but, so does Luka, so does every star. And, like I just never understood anyone who's watched him the last couple of years, like thinking he was going to come in and hijack the offense, especially when he first came back.
Well, the only guy I thought was kind of forcing things a little bit was Austin, right? With some of his shot selection, his first three, like the
His
Lakers
lob
gotta
selection, certainly.
huh?
His lob selection, certainly.
I was going to kill him.
I'm not even joking. Like, I think if you're JJ and Austin throws that lob, you have to bench him for the rest of the game. Like, I don't care. Like, you gotta, if there's a time for coaching, it's right then. The upside of that play is Luka maybe gets a fingertip on the ball and guides it into the rim. The downside of that play is Luka's funeral is next week on Spectrum Sportsnet. And it's just like the risk reward is not there on the fast break lob to Luka. Dude, like,
at the very least, JJ has to call that out in his press conference and be like,
or you got to call a timeout and scream at him on the court. Like, I know he's your, your second, third best player, wherever you want to put him. But like, I'm sorry. Some things
they
are
showed
like
Luka because he was like holding his knee, right? And he was yelling back up the court. And for a hot second,
collided with his knee.
What's that?
His knee twisted when he came down.
He like, the guy like, was trying to take a charge on an Austin pass or something like that. And he kind of like landed into Luka's left knee. Well, Luka's kind of reaching for his knee and he's yelling up the court. And for a legit few seconds, I thought he was yelling at Austin, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mia was very worried during this segment. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Like, sometimes Luka just likes to show up the ref. So let's see if he's like actually hurt or if he's okay. Because sometimes he will take his time getting back. Like, we've seen this. He'll take his time getting back to, show the ref how stupid they are for not calling a foul.
Look, Austin, never do that again.
Yeah.
Like, just never, ever, 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 ever. Honestly, Austin might be the worst lob thrower on the Lakers currently.
It's
worse than
the dumbest play I think he has ever made in his entire career, which I guess is good that it took him till like season 4 to like have his JaVale moment. But like, just please never again, Austin. Like, I don't know if you thought that was LeBron, like, sort of coming down. Even him, you probably shouldn't be throwing that to in his first game back, but certainly not Luka.
They're going down.
Even if you think
they're running this 2-on-1
which
break.
White guy did he think he saw on his periphery that was going to get that pass?
Well, this is who he was throwing the lob to.
Like, is Jake LaRavia getting that pass? I don't think so.
I like that maybe that ends with him falling down. That's like Luka. Anyway, but Dalton Austin that? never ever
I don't think
do that
so.
Again.
Dalton's probably the best athlete of the Snowtime Lakers, but like he still, I don't know that he was getting to that.
That was Snowtime in that, like, I thought Reaves might have been on cocaine throwing that lob. It was unbelievable. That's poor decision making. But all right, so what I wanted to really kind of like hammer home before we get into other aspects of the game, and we'll talk about the starters at the very, very end of it, because like that was the only kind of question mark to come out of this one, I think. But like LeBron, I thought, and this is what happens a lot of times with like the first game that you have a super team together, where you'll have people kind of like overpassing, or they're kind of unwilling to step on each other's toes and stuff. And I thought we saw a little bit of that from LeBron
That
tonight.
was what the first quarter screamed to me, especially with the starters. It seemed like everybody was trying to defer a little too much.
Yeah, and eventually, like, to Luka's credit, he basically was like, "All right, no, all right, stop. That's right. I'm Luka." Luka finishes the game with 37 points, 10 assists, 5 boards, 4 steals in this one for Luka.
Wow, I knew he was good. I did not realize he got to 37.
And yeah, and 10 and 5. And now he did have 8 turnovers, and that's kind of, I think, like, I thought Luka was really kind of like, I thought Austin was kind of forcing some of his shots. I thought Luka was forcing some of his passes, and I thought LeBron was kind of like on his back feet, just kind of really trying to figure it out. And then, but eventually in the second half, though, I thought we finally arrived at what the Lakers can look like, at least offensively, and honestly, defensively, they played really well in the second half until it was clear that they had the game in hand. I also thought that, like, LeBron looked a little extra spry, little skinnier out there, which makes me wonder if he kind of prepped himself to play 3-4 this season versus 4-5 as he has the last few years.
Yeah, I don't know that I necessarily got that vibe, but he did, like, he did sort of seem to regain his wind faster than, somebody who was just saying they had baby lungs yesterday. So I don't know if that was him just sort of like, level setting expectations. But I thought, especially in the second half, he moved a lot better than he was in the first half, where, I don't know if part of it, and this would be human nature if he was, like, part of him was maybe concerned about re-injury or whatever. Like, I've never had a sciatica, but apparently if you have had one, it is not something you want to have again. And so I do wonder if some of sort of his tentativeness and, like, a little bit, like, not that he looked gimpy in the first half, but he wasn't moving at LeBron speed. And I thought in the second half, he looked a lot more confident planting his feet, like getting into a stance, sliding, making defensive rotations, all that stuff. And so, whatever sort of jitters he had about coming back from injury seemed to sort of dissipate by that point. Or he just loosened up. I don't know.
Yeah, I really think the biggest thing was that, like, everybody kind of realized, oh shit, there's a basketball game to win here.
Yeah.
Like,
This one
eventually
still
it was
counts.
like,
This isn't a scrimmage.
yeah, like, this is, I think it really kind of helped them that Utah came out shooting the way that they did, and like, I thought Utah was gonna like beat the crap out of them based on how that first quarter like opened up. And I was thinking, like, man, that would be perfect. But I do think, though, that, like, to the Lakers' credit, once everybody did kind of normalize to the extent that they could, the Lakers offense, Harrison, like we said at the top, 140 points in this game. And that was mostly sleepwalking. Like, I didn't think, and you can look, and it's not like they had outliers shooting in this one. They shot 11 of 32 from 3-point range. That's only 34%. That's not like you get to 140 points. Usually you'll have somebody go off from 3-point range. They didn't. You had Luka was 2 of 10. Austin was 1 of 4. LeBron had the best percentage on the night. He and Gabe tied for 2 of 3 from 3-point range. So it was like there was nobody who was like absolutely ballistic out there. And yet the Lakers pretty easily got to 140. They eventually took their foot off the pedal because guys literally came into the game from the end of the bench. If this is what it looks like in the first game, if this group gets enough reps together, I do really think that this could be an elite team on that side of the ball. What did you see from that side?
Well, and the guy that we haven't mentioned there yet is Deandre Ayton, who I thought was, after sort of I think like a little bit of an iffy first half, like everyone else, he bobbled a couple passes, and, like, he really does. For someone, he has the worst touch to hands ratio of anyone, like, I've ever seen. Like, most guys that have really good touch, they also have great hands, and he just has horrible hands. But once he gets it in his hands, he has, like, amazing craft around the rim and ability to finish. And, he is just like, I think really proving himself to be an integral part of this team and, potentially like a winning basketball player. He plays hard every single night and he is just finishing everything. And he makes those like sort of pick and rolls impossible to guard because you put him in like a 2-on-1 situation or like against a smaller defender and he's just like laying it in right over them like it's a Nerf hoop. And I just think that he is like, that's someone who's going to help LeBron ease back in. He's already helped Luka and Austin a ton this year, but like, you're just going to have, those guys are going to have easier plays because, of his touch around the rim and how much he's going to feast on those little like dink and dunk, like passes over the top.
The Lakers had built out a lead in the fourth quarter. LeBron subs out, Luka comes in, and I think the first look that the Lakers got when Luka came in was an Ayton, kind of bunny hook around the rim. And you could just kind of catch it as Utah was going up on offense. But LeBron gets to the bench because, like, it's got to be weird, right? You're subbing out, and in comes Luka, and you've just played your first game, and like, normally that's a spot where LeBron would go to the bench, and you would think, man, there's a decent chance that like don't ice up your knees quite yet, LeBron. But he got there, and the first thing he sees when he kind of looks up is Ayton making this right-handed hook. And it was kind of cool, really, really, really tiny moment that you really had to look for to find it. But LeBron just kind of like drops his head down. He's like, all right, this is cool. I do actually get
I thought you were
going to
say he grabbed the ice and started putting it on his knees. He's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, no, I really think it was I'm putting
really
my
knees
like
in the
shoulder
refrigerator.
drop, like in comfort moment,
Yeah.
All right, this thing, like, all right, I guess I'll go to the bench and then I'll probably because years past, right? He would go to the bench with like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you would get like a 30 to 40 second break, and the whole 30 to 40 seconds
is
like
a full minute or two on the sideline to catch his breath before he has to bring it home.
And the whole time he's there, he's like looking down at the coach. He's kind of looking like, can I get back out there? Can I get back out there? They say it's down. The lead's down to 6. The lead's down to 7, whatever it is, 6, 7. I know, Avery. But like, I'm watching and he's able to relax. And I think, he's talking, his post-game presser so far, some of the quotes that I've seen kind of come leak out have been really funny. And he was talking about how the chemistry in this locker room is really great. And he was saying, like, I've been telling you guys that I can fit with anybody. I don't know what's wrong with those people out there. And I think like this level of comfort and this level of chemistry and this level of productivity that the Lakers have is something that I don't think we have seen since the 1920 season, since the 2019-2020 season, where it's like this level of togetherness has been really fun to watch take hold. And he has noted it himself.
I feel like the defending champs team had a lot of togetherness and just like horrible injury luck, but otherwise,
they played their next season 3 business days later.
Yeah.
So that's fair. Although even that team though, because remember there was like the Dennis Schroeder, they trade for Schroeder and he like demands to start.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There was the Marc Gasol thing, and now we're a lot sooner into the season than that. There's still plenty of time for guys to get mad at each other and have issues with the team. But yeah, the chemistry does appear to be legitimately incredible with all of these guys.
I also think, like, on the Ayton note, I'm glad you brought him up. LeBron is going to love how Ayton sets screens, right? Like, he actually makes contact. And I made note of this, that like if you cut and you're a Laker, you're going to score. If you set a good screen and you're a Laker, you're going to score. And if you can hit an open 3 and you're a Laker, you're going to be able to score. And I thought that LeBron and Ayton, they developed chemistry super fast. Like the game really got out of reach when LeBron had like 5 straight assists in the third quarter. I think 2 or 3 of them were to Ayton, and all of them were of the oh shit variety.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
like,
once LeBron figured out that you have to throw the pass incredibly slow and up in the air so that he has plenty of time to catch it like an outfielder, it was over. It was over for the
yeah.
Jazz.
Well, actually, there was some like close proximity passes that were kind of like LeBron. I love this thing that like NBA players do, where they throw a no look pass, but you're looking when you're first throwing the pass,
Yeah,
and then the way that he no looks is like out of bounds. So like it's just for show, obviously. But I
yeah,
always laugh at like, oh, LeBron with the no look. It's like that didn't fool anybody. He just
yeah.
it's a shovel pass and he looked out to the crowd.
I mean, the Jazz are a pretty bad defensive team. They might have thought he was going to pass it to Daniel Kaluuya on the sidelines.
That sensible guy is just like, whoa.
I mean, Dalton scored 40 against these guys, so
And then got a DNP, basically
you
until
think
the
that's
very
great?
end.
Like Will Hardy was like, wait, this guy's not like he's our whole scouting report was on guard this guy around the 3-point line. He's not going to play.
Laravia gets into the game. He's like, huh, Dalton, you grew. Um, but I want to talk about Luka because I thought the way that he handled tonight was really notable, not just in the way that he handled the basketball aspect of it, where eventually he did finally kind of like put his foot down and be like, nope, we got to win this thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to start scoring. But I also thought that like there was some really cool chemistry with him and LeBron, a lot of like communication between plays. And I even saw them try to run a couple pick and rolls together, and they weren't very smooth. And LeBron didn't set the best screen, but that I thought was a starting point there. But I thought like overall, Luka, like just like we talk about LeBron finding ways to fit in with his team, I thought Luka actually did a really good job of finding his way to fit in to the context of this game specifically as LeBron figures this out, and then eventually took over in the way that he knows he can. What did you see from Luka tonight?
Yeah, I think a lot of the same stuff that you mentioned, like, and just like a willingness to, I think that it's important in these games for somebody to eventually snap everyone out of the like we're going to over defer and just sort of take the lead and let everyone sort of play off of them and the rest of the pieces fall into place. And I think that that's what you saw from him tonight. And honestly, that's the role he should be taking. LeBron
Yeah.
is in his 40s, and this is not his team anymore. And like that's fine. It shouldn't be his team anymore at that place. Like that's not again, he's the first guy to play 23 seasons. They stopped the game and announced that tonight, and it's just like, oh yeah, like that is kind of wild that
Yeah.
he is and he's still starting. Every so often you have to remind yourself of this stuff, and it should be Luka's team at this point. And I think it was going to be important for tonight for him to not overly defer to LeBron and just sort of, hey, you were my favorite player growing up or whatever it may be. I don't know if LeBron was actually his favorite player, but you could convince me based on the way he plays that he was. And that he didn't just go into it and he's like, okay, like let's make sure that we get LeBron going. Let's do all the, no. And he eventually just sort of took it over and like put his foot on the gas. And I think that was as much of a part of getting them out of their funk as anything.
I thought it was really key. And I think they lose that game if they let that rope slip much further, and eventually they kind of figured that out. And the Austin part of this is going to be something to monitor. It was a concern coming into this game. How is Austin going to fit into the offense now with LeBron there too? And I did think that there were some moments that Austin kind of floated and stuff, but then you look up and Austin finished the game with 26 points
Yeah, he was really big
on
in the second
11
half.
field goal attempts.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to be interesting here with Austin is his 3-pointer, I don't think is where he wants it to be so far in the season. So what he's basically done instead is kind of put his head down and get to the rim. And the nice thing about having LeBron out there is LeBron actually does offer some practical, some actual spacing, compared to like Marcus Smart, who is a negative space presence out there. And Rui is still kind of more theoretical as a floor spacer than he is actually somebody who would space the floor. But the defense is never going to ignore LeBron. It's never going to ignore Luka, especially with it seeming like those guys are trying to stay attached in offensive possessions that they aren't playing a direct role in. And what that has opened up is like some real driving lanes for Austin to take advantage of the strength that he added to his body over the course of the summer. And, getting to the free throw line 11 times, and albeit against a bad Utah team that fouls way too much. Getting to the free
one
throw
of those
line,
he got on a 3.
Oh, he got there 12 times. What's that?
No, one of those he got on a 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he got an and one on a 3 at one point.
He shot 3 free throws, I think, at the beginning of the game, because I think it's Bryce Sensabaugh, right? Is the guy that Bryce Sensabaugh.
I think it was Ace Bailey that got him on the and one.
No, yeah. So Bailey got him on the and one.
Yeah.
But Bryce Sensabaugh was guarding Austin like 40 feet from the basket, hand checking him, and Austin just kind of rose up and shot the 3-pointer. So that was 3. That's 4 of Austin's 12 free throws that he took. But I do think that like Austin attacking the gaps is going to be a vital thing for the Lakers, because that's not really what LeBron or Luka do. They're both kind of blunt force type offensive weapons, whereas Austin is the only guy that can kind of, be more of a slashing presence with the basketball. I'm not worried about Austin moving forward. I think eventually the 3-point shooting will eventually kind of level out. But yeah, what did you see from Austin tonight? It was an interesting game, I thought.
I honestly thought he was fine. Like, he didn't stand out to me as particularly bad. Like, other than, again, some of the over deferring and the worst pass he's thrown in his entire basketball career, probably on that Luka lob. But outside of those two things, I thought he was fine. Like, he, I think that it's going to take everyone time to sort of get into rhythm with this new sort of pecking order and hierarchy in the offense and get used to playing with each other again. You saw him and LeBron, like they had a couple of moments together. Those guys have been playing together a long time. Obviously, Rui's been playing with them a long time, but the Austin and Luka thing is still fairly new. They had like half a season together, but not a tremendous amount of time, and that wasn't this version of Luka. So like they're still learning together, and then now they're learning, okay, how does this fit with this new version of LeBron? And so I think some of that is just going to come with time, and it's going to take them a little bit to figure it out and sort of find the optimal breakdown in between usage and like how they can best break up that pie. But I thought Austin was fine tonight, and I also think that this puts him back into, you talk about attacking the gaps, but I think it's almost just as much that LeBron and Luka are guys who can crack a defense, who can crack a set defense and force it to do something and stuff. Austin, that is not really his strong suit.
Yeah.
And this puts him back into that secondary attacker role that I think that he really initially sort of broke out in during the Lakers Western Conference Finals run, and was able to, sort of make like a huge difference for the team just by giving them someone who could sort of break a compromise defense down once, Pete likes to call it the blender. Like once you have the team in the blender, like Austin can pour the rest of the smoothie, but he's not necessarily going to get it going on his own. And so
I
think
he won't start the blender, but he'll benefit
role
from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that, because and again, this is all going to take time, and it's nice that we are talking about this while the Lakers currently sit 10-4. So they have 8 games plus a cup game here and there, and hopefully a playoff run to get even more reps and stuff.
It would only be one extra cup game, if any.
Oh, well,
the only one that's an extra game on the schedule is the title.
I thought the semis were extra.
No, it's just instead of a regular season game.
Okay. Well, one extra regular season game. I actually don't mind the extra regular season game now that the Lakers are a little younger. I hated the cup and the idea of the Lakers playing an extra game back when it was LeBron and Luke and LeBron and AD. It was like, no, get them out of there. I don't want an extra game.
Keeping Luka in shape. Don't give him a cup break. Come on.
know, like, please, like, you know what, lose in the semis and take the few days off. But yeah, I like the idea of finding ways to get Austin benefiting from that defense that finds itself in a blender. And also, like, one thing that really stood out to me watching the Jazz is they are much better at, like, Svi, right? The only thing that Svi is going to hurt you with is 3-point shooting.
I
Like,
could not believe that Svi was starting. I did not. Again, I hand up. I have
well, they're
not watched the
tanking.
Jazz at all this
So,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, but still, I was like, this is a guy that the Celtics won a title, and they're just like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, we don't even need to keep you around for the vibes. Like, and then, and now he's starting for the Jazz, and I know they're tanking, but I was like, whoa, like he's this many minutes.
That is
You and I are
a
the
level of
we're
tanking
early
that
Svi guys, but that's a big role for him in 2025.
But yeah, like, but with, like, Utah, so Svi is on the scouting report since he's a starter. And it's just like, don't let this guy shoot, right? Don't leave this guy open. Don't do this. And Svi has really good instincts as a relocation floater or shooter, and he's a pretty good motion shooter, right? And Utah does some stuff to get him coming off the screens. And I think that's one thing. I don't think Austin is obviously a motion or a movement shooter, but I would like to see the Lakers, when LeBron and Luka are out there, I would like to see the Lakers have a few more designed floating screens, right? So flare screens, or screens that the elevator screens that on the weak side as well. Like these things that can be done to get Austin some easier looks from 3-point range, because I don't like the way that the Lakers are having him shoot threes this year, where it's almost solely off of the dribble and it's
Well,
almost
that was sort of the
all
problem
contested.
early on last year in JJ's offense too, was like they gave him a little too green of a light
Yeah.
to shoot off the dribble. And I thought that it sort of like messed his game up a little bit, where he wasn't really having the right balance. And this year he has been doing a better job attacking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think, you know, if they want to get some of those plays, I also think like they can just tell JJ Redick that they drafted Dalton Connect again. He'll just start involuntarily just like scribbling down
Yeah.
plays for a shooter.
Bob needs to go to JJ and be like, "Hey man, Austin's actually a better shooter than Dalton. Can we just transfer some of those plays over?"
I know Austin can shoot off the dribble. I'm asking you the question, should he?
Yeah. Well, he should,
Yeah.
but, like, that shouldn't be the only shot that he takes. Like,
Yeah.
you guys know I love golfing, right? And when I go out to the driving range before, and I'm warming up before I go out and play around, or even if I'm just going to the driving range, I don't reach for my driver right away. You know, like, I when I go to the range, the first club that I pull out of my bag is usually my attack wedge or my gap wedge, just to, like, get some nice smooth swings in there and develop some rhythm. But, like,
This
the
is how little
Lakers,
I've golfed. I thought that you just used the driver at the driving range. I did not realize that you used the other clubs.
really,
Yes.
I guess it does say it right there.
Yeah.
Um, but like, the Lakers basically have, like, they have, like, the first shot that Austin is taking in a lot of these games, or the first three that he's taking in a lot of these games, is like Happy Gilmore, like hopping into a driver, you know, and it's like, you're not going to develop any kind of rhythm doing that. So if I had one kind of annoyance from this game, and it started well before this game, they got to figure out a way to get Austin some easier looks. Last thing before I don't think we have any super comments here. Oh, somebody does want to know, Harrison. Jalen is asking, whose jersey are you rocking?
I am wearing, many people are calling him the better LeBron. You know, I am wearing Bronny James. This does say James Jr. on the back. It is not Nick Van Exel, as Anthony was asking me before the show. So I'm a man of my word. I said if the Lakers won more than one of the games without LeBron and Luka, I would buy, you know, role player jersey of Lakers fans' choice, and Lakers fans chose, and it was Bronny James. And so,
I'm not gonna lie, that's who I was hoping Lakers fans would choose.
yeah, I mean, my wife is not the happiest with me about this purchase. I'm not going to repeat what her reaction was when I walked upstairs tonight in the Bronny James jersey to watch the second half. You know, I pissed off my significant other for you guys. So I hope that you all enjoy the content.
And now you have to get a tattoo. On that note, on the Bronny note, this is from Jovan. Austin Reaves, while LeBron James was speaking to the media postgame at his locker, quote, pretty good G League player over there. The G raised him.
I just, you know, you're telling me that Bronny's dad doesn't even have to play a game in the G League and he gets a call up?
You know, nepotism.
Bronny, I am asking you as a son.
Hey, did you see he's not going to be an NBA countdown anymore?
You know, they only do as a father or like as a mother or as a brother of sister. Like nobody ever is like, you know, starts their point with like, you know, as a son of a mother.
A mother. Which, like, by the way, that's a decent way to score points. Like, mama's boys are the best.
Anyway. As the son of a father.
I always like doing like, as the owner of a dog. All right. Last thing before we get you guys out of here. The Lakers starters, Harrison. What did you think of them? Do you think eventually this is going to be a something that'll need to be addressed?
It wasn't good tonight, but I think that, again, for a lot of the reasons that we mentioned, like the sort of some of the gumminess, I think, was going to be no matter who was in the starting lineup. Well, yeah. I guess Marcus Smart would not have had the problem of over deferring, but you know, dealer's choice if that would have been a good thing or not. you know,
imagine Lakers fans booing Marcus Smart for his
Yes, I absolutely can imagine Lakers fans booing Marcus Smart for his shot selection. Like, you know, it's been mostly the good Marcus so far, but, you know, if he comes in the LeBron return game and it's like Luka and Austin haven't shot yet and like Marcus is taking his third contested pull-up, you know, because it's like,
Marcus
you guys want to defer, that's fine.
I'm coming back from injury, I guess. Marcus is like, I didn't play it last game either, so what's the big deal, everybody?
Why is everybody deferring out here? I guess they really want me to score. So
the other team sure does.
Again, I don't know that Marcus would have like fixed any of that issues. I'm with you philosophically on the arguments that maybe he would be a better fit there long term, but I think it's too early to say at this point. You know, I think you know, we got to see a couple more games from this before we can really like make. I think like a call one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm really curious because the way
they're going to be better than they were tonight.
Yeah, well, Sunday's going to be, I think, pretty telling because they'll have this game and they'll probably have tomorrow off, but they'll probably have film breakdown tomorrow. And I would like to be in that room to hear some of the notes for that starting group because it was a lot of walking and that's not like deferring stuff, you know, like the deferring stuff happens on the offensive side of the court. I never worry too much about somebody like you don't often hear somebody deferring defensively. No, you got this. You go ahead and make that rotation. I don't want to get in your way here, man.
Anthony, I've watched a lot of bad basketball teams with a lot of defensive deferring.
Well, not on purpose.
Yeah,
it's not out of unselfishness.
I think the entire baby Lakers year, LeBron was deferring on defense. It's like Kuz out there.
I actually think it was wise of LeBron to save some of the miles on his tires.
I'm not even like
why until
you weren't doing anything that year, but. Yeah, it was still like, you know, I mean, I've seen guys defer defensively before.
Yeah.
Lou Williams was a big fan of deferring defensively.
Who do you think is the biggest defer defensively?
Dalton.
Ooh, he's a good one. Post Achilles Kobe was pretty good at deferring.
Post Achilles Kobe, but I think invented deferring on defense. He's like, guys, I'm tired from shooting so much. You gotta get out to those shooters.
Listen, Nick, we aren't winning.
Like, Julius, hustling out there is gonna build character, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, and it is very late my time. Harrison, anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
No, just my Bronny James jersey. It's a Lakers 1-0 when I wear this thing. 2-0 in the Adu Tiero era. So
we need to see if like Aaron can get that signed for you, and you can get a signed and framed Bronny jersey.
Bronny's like, wait, me?
You gotta go like LeBron, can you sign this? LeBron? No, not you. LeBron.
No, not you. The real LeBron.
2.0.
Yeah. This is going to be a great summer league jersey in like 10 years.
It will.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, I'm kind of hoping that it isn't, right? Because if it isn't, that would mean that like Bronny became like a pretty good NBA player, maybe pretty good.
I still think a Bronny James jersey at Summer League is going to be a pretty good pull.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
right.
Like I unless he becomes the like slightly shorter Alex Caruso, like I think that's going to be a pretty good, one to grab out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, like an Alex Caruso Lakers jersey is like still a pretty good South Bay Lakers like Summer League jersey, right? Like it'll get a reaction when people see it.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I am going to end this one here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. A reminder, please hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Hit that like button as well. And then if you guys are listening to this in the morning via podcast, subscribe wherever it is that you get your pods, preferably on Odyssey. But you know what? Wherever you find it, you do.
I don't personally care. Wherever you listen is good with me.
Me too.
I'm just flattered that
I don't care.
That you did.
Yeah. And shouts to Texas Oncology. Thank you for the heart attack today. I really appreciated that. Have a great rest of your evenings. Make somebody else's, and I will talk to you, fortunately, tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.